What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. I have a great clip to show you guys today. This is going to be Katie Porter. She's a representative out of California, and she just makes sense in this scenario that she goes through. So we're hearing a lot of talk right now about the debt ceiling or raising the debt ceiling and adding that to the budget, all this stuff that's going on right now. She simplifies this and really drives the point home when it comes to raising the debt ceiling and why we have to do it. We don't have a choice when it comes to raising the debt ceiling. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, if you're not getting notifications, let me know in the comments below. And also follow me on Twitter at the TEC Show Live. Okay, I'm going to show you the clip first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this. But this was amusing to me. I like watching when politicians actually make sense, and this doesn't happen very often. A lot of these politicians out here, and you see Speaker McCarthy going back and forth and trying to make this a big drama when it comes to this raising the debt ceiling and why they need to make these cuts and why they need to tie the two together. You can see this, and then you just look at some of these politicians and you're just thinking, what are they talking about? What are they talking about when they're comparing children and the credit card and all this stuff? She simplifies it, and let's go ahead and play it. Here we go.
So let's say my credit card company has given me a card that allows me to buy everything I could ever possibly want. But because I'm fiscally responsible, I'm going to create a debt ceiling for myself. It's modeled on Congress. I am getting my debt, I'm going to set my personal debt ceiling at $1,000. I don't want more than $1,000 of debt. I want to be fiscally responsible, no matter how much my credit card company is willing to loan me because of my stellar credit card history. So I go to the store, and I have a lot I need to buy for my family. I fill my cart to the top. I get to the front of the store, and I ring up $500. I look at the bill. I reach for my card. I worry because I know I've already spent probably $1,000 in the last few weeks because of an ER visit, braces for my daughter. Dr. Edelberg, will my credit card company respect my personal $1,000 debt ceiling, or will this transaction go through?
The transaction will go through.
I hate to disrespect my debt ceiling, but my kids have to eat, they need their school supplies, their feet keep growing. So I swipe the credit card, the charge goes through. Now fast forward. My credit card bill arrives. It's more than my $1,000 debt ceiling. I call up my credit card company and I tell them, I've exceeded my debt ceiling. I'm not going to pay back the $500 above my debt ceiling, even though I've already spent it, even though my kids have already eaten the food, worn the clothes. Dr. Edelberg, will my credit card company accept this, my personal debt ceiling, as an excuse for why I'm not paying my bills?
They will consider you in default.
So my lender expects to be repaid, no matter what I set as my debt ceiling. If I decide to stick with my debt ceiling and I do default, you said they'll consider me in default, what's going to happen to me?
They'll lower your credit limit, they'll raise your interest rate, they might even cancel the card.
So I really have no choice here as a consumer, as a mom, to suspend my $1,000 debt ceiling and pay off the debt that I've taken. Buy the ticket, take the ride. I did the spending, I've got to pay it back.
Okay, so that was Katie Porter. Pretty simple, right? I mean, this is how we deal with everyday life. We go and use our credit cards, debit cards, what have you. We spend and then we pay our bills. However, right now in Congress, you have politicians that are saying, you know what? We're not going to pay our bills unless you meet these demands. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. We're talking about two separate things. We're talking about raising the debt ceiling, so paying for all those bills that you've run up, and then we're talking about the budget. So we're talking about future spending, and that's something that they usually decide in September. But Speaker McCarthy wants to tie the two together right now. There's an urgency to really get this budget under control right now. He doesn't want to wait any longer when it comes to this, although he's waited for years. He's been a congressperson for a very, very long time. he has voted to raise the debt ceiling at least 3 times. And so when we're looking at him and thinking, okay, why is there a certain urgency right now, right when we have to raise the debt ceiling, right when we have to pay our bills, that's when we want to address this budget. So it's really, I mean, it's one of those things where it's an eyebrow raiser, because you're thinking, okay, obviously he wants the drama. Obviously he wants us to go into default, because if he didn't, he would just vote to raise the debt ceiling and then handle the budget in the future. But I think she did a really good job of kind of laying this out, letting you understand, look, you can set a debt limit, you can do whatever you want to do, but if you spend over that debt limit, you're still responsible to pay for that, whatever you overspent. And guess what? Even if your counterparts voted to spend this money, you are still obligated to pay for it. And that's the way things are. You can't go to, just like I can't go to my lender and say, you know what, I had a cap and I went over my cap, so I'm not going to pay this extra amount over my cap. I'm only going to pay the $1,000. I'm not going to pay the additional $500. They would look at you like you're crazy. You would default and it would hurt your credit rating. So this is not up for debate. This is something that has to be done. And that's, I mean, I think she did a really good job of laying that out to show people, look, this is really ridiculous. We should not be having this discussion. And I think she did a really good job of outlining that. And then understand this as well, and I've talked about this before, and I'm going to say this again. When it comes to us defaulting, it would be worse for our economy. It would be worse for our debt. So if we're looking at $32 trillion in debt, if we default on that and we stop paying, then we're going to have to pay interest. We're going to have to pay penalties. It's going to be worse for us. Our credit rating will be affected, which means that we're going to have to pay more in interest in the future. So this is not a good situation. This should not be a situation where we are holding this hostage, holding this debt ceiling hostage to get what we want when it comes to the budget. Because the reality is, if we default, it's going to be worse, a lot worse than if we just raise the debt ceiling and then handle the budget separately. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. Let me know down below. What do you think about Katie Porter? Do you think she explained that well? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.